Tom, congratulations.
You as well.
Over 30 episodes? Yeah, wow. We decided, over 8 months ago to come together and start looking at the trends impacting the world of HR, culture, people in general, and also things like organizational change and organizational development. And that's actually all been in the backdrop of a pandemic. So it's been a really interesting time just for workplace change in general. Would you like to share with me your sort of top 5?
I think when we started, I thought, well, how many episodes can we fill? Huh? And I think, well, there's not a lack of subjects, I think. So
Definitely not. And every time we talk, we always think of 5 more to talk about. And then we have people on LinkedIn and YouTube telling us what they want us to cover. It's great.
number 1 on my list is ethical leadership. Where is HR? And I think there's a lot to be done in that. The key message there is HR should take responsibility and not be a bystander, but an activist. I think that's super important and has also been shown to be very important in the last year and a half. Number 2, is this goodbye HR business partner? And we have also seen in this series that HR likes to talk about HR. How do we structure it? What's the operational model? But the HR business partner discussion, you only have to mention it and people say, oh, yeah. They recognize
I know, it's got such a response, hasn't it, across LinkedIn and other media. It's been quite amazing.
Number 3, is anti-fragile the new superpower? And I think that also fits nicely in these days. Anti-fragility, the concept of Nicolas Taleb. And I had a key message there is, how can you bounce back at a higher level? So it's not about resilience per se, but it's about anti-fragility, benefiting from adverse conditions as organizations and as people. Number 4 on my list, build a people strategy that actually works. One of the key messages there is work close to the organization, the real organizational issues, and try to solve them. Don't focus too much on HR and the handbook of HR, but show that you can impactful contribute to solving burning issues.
Exactly. And that strategy in the new ways of working in a pandemic, but just in an ever-changing working environment that we now operate in, that strategy doesn't hold for too long. So it's strategy in action, isn't it?
Number 5, that's the one we called unboxing talent management. And also in talent management, it's time for transformation. And how can we be a lot faster? How can we be a lot more personalized? How can we be a lot more people-focused? How can we do many, many things, but transform talent management? And we had a good discussion about that. So those are my top 5. What were yours?
Lots of similar themes, and I was then reflecting on kind of themes overall that we can move into over that. For me, ethical leadership and diversity, equity, inclusion are kind of combined topics that I think are crucial to be talking about. We've got to just get more and more comfortable making that an everyday conversation.
Yeah, and key message with diversity is it's not a goal in itself. Why do you do it?
Exactly. It's actually good business. And I think that's important here. And that's a theme, I think, generally, Tom, is what we're looking at is not just what a HR person should go and do because that's been best practice or it's worked somewhere else. It's actually, this is how you help your business be successful. Definitely the end of the HR business partner. But again, I would link that to our episode where we looked at the operating model. So the two go very hand in hand. This is how do we start to redesign our own team to actually deliver against some 3 areas, which you talked about, which is, the advocating for the people, representing the people, empathizing with the people, delivering fantastic services and operations, and then that key sort of the architecture, the organizational design, the organizational development, the strategy piece.
And the key message there is the best operating model does not exist.
No.
There's not one model that's best.
No. And actually, you've got to think of your context, think of your skills, capability that you already have, and the problems you're trying to solve. I totally agree with anti-fragility. For me, this is just the new way you need to work. my other two are a little bit different. So the first one is moments that matter. And this is because we started to, I think, get very practical about how people co-create solutions using techniques such as design thinking, experimenting, prototyping, and testing. So I really like that one. And that links to all topics from talent through to learning and development. So if you go and use some of those techniques that we talked about, you can really make a practical, tangible difference. And then the last one was one that you didn't really want to talk about, but the reason I'm including it is I just had so many people get in contact, and this was why is HR obsessed with the basics?
Okay.
So many people got in contact and said, oh my God, that's all we talk about in my team. And I thank you so much for calling that out. So I was thinking about some of the themes, and for me, I just wanted to call a few out. So one is understanding how to deliver value to your customer and what that looks like. Agile mindset, of course, and that relates a lot to anti-fragility. The T-shape, we've talked about a lot. And then this idea of, I suppose, move beyond your current system of operating or pre-definitions of job roles and functions, and actually start thinking in a whole new way around the network of your organization and where you want to go with your people from here.
How do we get away from our traditional models? That's why I don't like to talk, for example, about the subject, how do we engage our people? The notion there is the organization has to engage and motivate the people.
Yeah.
And leadership, the importance of leadership. I know those subjects are important, but we put ourselves very much in a dependent position.
Yeah.
I'm an employee, I need leadership, and I need to be motivated. Well, that's not what we want. How do we get away? And that's the whole theme of transformation. And I think we only start touching it.
Yes.
And we're always reverting back to our traditional mental models. Also, things need to be clear and well organized and well structured and super aligned, and everybody needs to be on the same page. Well, why? You do something, I do something. Maybe it is conflicting a little bit, but we're both working on solutions that can help our clients inside out. I think that's another important theme.
Definitely.
Not are you in or are you out?
Mm-hmm.
You are in and out. And when you want to solve problems or develop products, you have to tap on your network and your resources.
Definitely.
Some of them are in the organization, some of them are outside.
Exactly.
And use them.
And I think that's a key message around just sourcing the information to inform your work, isn't it? So don't just look at what you've done before in your organization. Don't just look at what other organizations are doing. Really pull on lots of different sources, lots of different data, work in that more evidence-based way, and then start to build it for your context. So even if you've done it before, you now need to test that it's going to work for your context. And that's key, isn't it? Yeah.
And we easily talk about agile in HR. And then people come to you and say, can you give us one day how to work agile in HR? But that's also a real change, I think, in the way we operate and the way we work.
And the only way to work agile is actually to start doing it, to experience it, to have some reflections on what worked, what didn't. Okay, now I'm going to try this. I'm going to iterate in this way. And so, again, you've just got to start applying some of these skills, some of these trends we're talking about, to understand how to use it more effectively going forward. Yeah. So, practical top tip.
Yeah.
I think it's that people should listen to more of our episodes. And we are now a podcast as well.
I'm a big fan of podcasts because then I can walk and listen at the same time. Yes. So I hope people like that on Spotify or iTunes or all the channels, I think.
All the channels. Apparently there's about 20 that we're on.
Yeah.
And we would like to have more information from people that listen on what they want us to talk about.
But not things like, can you discuss employee engagement? tickle us a little bit,
Yes.
and not the usual subjects, because we can talk about that, but we like to talk about different subjects as well.
We do. We like a bit of controversy. We like the hot topic. We want to push the boundaries, definitely. Excellent. Well, it's been fabulous to work with you over the last 30 episodes. So thank you so much, Tom. This is Talking HR Trends with Natal and Tom. If you found this discussion valuable, please subscribe and make sure you listen to all the others as well. Thank you.